Hey, and welcome to that Fabric guide. Today I'm going to demo to you how you can extract data from an on-premise SQL Server into Microsoft Fabric. So I've gotten access to an on-premises environment, a Windows environment, and yes, I am in an Apple MacBook here, but looking at a Windows environment connected to a PC called Workstation 01. And let's dive right into my laptop where we will be installing the gateway and then extracting data out of a local SQL server. So let's get to it. Okay, I am looking at the Windows app here. Workstation 01 is my connection, and I already downloaded the gateway installer. So let's run that one. And there we go. Let's just go through it. I am going to install the gateway on this machine. You can think about whether you want to add your gateway to the database machine or to another dedicated gateway server. Maybe that's better. In this case, just for demo purposes, I have my Workstation 01 here, which is a demo PC anyways, and I will be just installing the gateway on that machine. This all should be really easy, and it should be a next finish installation. We need to log in with our account, and we will register a new gateway on this computer. The recovery key is needed to restore an existing gateway. This is basically a key that's used to encrypt data that's being sent by the gateway. All right, and now the gateway seems to be online. That means that we should be able now to move into Microsoft Fabric, and from here create a new connection. I already created an on-prem SQL to Lakehouse pipeline, but before we can actually start working with it, we should be creating a new connection. This is an on-premises connection, and we should be finding now this gateway in here, and let's call the connection on-prem SQL. Connection type is SQL Server. The server name is called, what's the server name? It's called Workstation 01. And the database is called Wide World Importers. Now for authentication method, I'm going to select basic and I'm going to create a new login here. So let's go to, and this is something that you need to configure, preferably with a service principal or something similar. But for now, I'll just be creating a SQL login. New login. Let's call the login TOG, and this is SQL authentication with a password. And let's make it sysadmin just for now. I mean, do not do this in production, but just for now, to prevent any problems, make it sysadmin. We have now a user called TOG. Let's go here, put in TOG and put in the password. And let's create. Login failed. And there we go. Okay, so this was a bit of a round trip. Again, in practice, use the service principal or something similar. If you have an older SQL Server version or you cannot use service principal for whatever reason, use SQL authentication or Windows authentication. My preference would be service principal. Okay, and actually make sure to log in once to make sure that the password is a definitive password. Okay, so now this connection is created, and then we should be able to create a pipeline here. So we do a copy data activity. And now for our source, we will use the connection on-prem SQL. There it is. Connection type, SQL Server. The database is called Wide World Importers. That's correct. And we will be using just a table copy like so. It will probably find a lot of tables. And let's look for the invoices table. Yeah, so sales invoices is a table that's available right here. There we go, that table should be available. We can enter this manually and say sales.invoices because it is apparently a bit slow to copy data. Okay, sales.invoices, advanced, timeout, this all looks fine. No additional columns to be mapped. we will be putting data into a lakehouse. What lakehouse? Let's put it into, it doesn't really matter. Let's put it into our new performance lakehouse, into a table. Okay, let's just create a new connection then. Browser. Let's create a connection from here. That should actually work. So go to connections and gateways. Let's create a new Fabric Lakehouse connection right here. Lakehouse. Just log in with OAuth 2 for now. This should be fine. Should be logged in already, so this is all right. Yes, we want to use it with on-premises data gateways. Okay, that's been created. Let's go back to the pipeline, refresh our connections, and now select the Fabric Lakehouse connection right here. Pick the lakehouse, and we will do the schema-enabled lakehouse. It doesn't really matter. This should all be fine. And let's put data into the dbo.sales invoices table. Let's call it that. So we rename the table a bit. We pick override, and that's about it. For mapping, we do not do any mapping. And then for intelligent throughput optimization, we just keep everything as is. Now we can save our pipeline, and we can start running the pipeline to see if it's actually going to work. I will hit run. Okay, so now this is running. Let's verify that it is actually running. It's not yet. Okay, we can go to Windows. We can go here, go to Task Manager. And we should be able now to find in our Task Manager that there would be some network activity. And we should be sending some data over the network. And indeed, we are now, it seems, sending data over the network. It's not that much though, so let's quickly check what's going on here. And of course, we have to zoom out a bit. Okay, so the SQL Server has now read 1.4 gigabytes of data, and it has started to write to the lakehouse. It is now really sending over some data, as we can see here in the network activity. We're sending data at roughly 70 megabits per second. I'm not sure if that's fast. It sounds fast enough for this purpose. So we can see here that it is writing rows to our lakehouse. It should read about 4.1 or 4.5 million lines. 4.1 apparently. So right now we have copied, apparently this was successful. Let me zoom in again. We've copied 4.1 million lines to our lakehouse. That's called schema-enabled lakehouse. Let's open that lakehouse and verify that we have the data that we need. Here we are in DBO. We now have a sales invoices table with data that is coming from SQL Server. Okay, so in this video, I've shown you how you can install the on-premises data gateway for Power BI and Microsoft Fabric on a local Windows environment. Now, this was just a Windows workstation that I used for test and demoing purposes. In practice, you will use probably a separate gateway VM in your Windows environment. The only thing is you should be in the same domain that is actually being used by the database server. So you should be in a domain joint machine. You do not necessarily need to be on the same server as that your database is hosted on. You can, but you don't need to. So talk to your sysadmin or your network admin and get this figured out. The actual installation is next finish. You do need to log in with an account that can also access Microsoft Fabric and that can allow you to create connections. Once that's done, you can see how easy it is to just copy data over from your local SQL Server into Microsoft Fabric. And here you have it. You can now integrate your on-premises data with your cloud-based data lakes. If you like this video, press thumbs up. And if you do want to see more videos like these, every week on Thursday, I will publish a video on Microsoft Fabric just like this one. And we range from Power BI to AI to on-prem to networking to data engineering and everything in between. So subscribe to the channel and I'll see you next week. Ciao, ciao.